Legislative Report with your state representative, Joe Hackett. I'm Laurie Bull, and today we're going to talk about some topics that were worked on last session but didn't quite make it through the end goal. So, Representative Hackett, welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Sure. And one of the big issues that was bandied about a lot last session was the idea of privatizing the state liquor stores. We have a new governor now. It's probably not high on his priority list, but what do you think about the possibilities of that issue coming to the forefront again?
Well, we're looking forward to working with them and hoping that everyone does work together. Whether that happens or not is still yet to be seen. As you well know, I supported liquor privatization in the bill that we passed out of the House last session. I thought maybe this session I could start off by introducing a piece of legislation that would decriminalize the transportation of alcohol from other states back into Pennsylvania. Many of the neighbors that I live around and have spoken to in small groups, because we live so close to Delaware and New Jersey, that we're looking, they shop down there, and we really don't think it should be a crime to bring those products back, the beer and liquor and spirits and wines. And we're trying our hardest, to get some legislation through that'll handle that problem. We do also want to let everyone know that part of that bill will be that you do pay the adequate tax, state tax, but it's self-reporting on your tax return forms.
I see. Another issue that you're getting ready to introduce legislation is having to do with victims of crimes, and how they work when they're in a trial situation and their rights as victims. Can you talk about your legislation in that?
Yes, last year we put through unanimously on the House floor. It was House Bill 2464, and it's a crime victim rights bill. Presently, right now, a lot of people don't know that if you are, for example, the victim of a rape, and occasionally the courts or the defense attorneys will try and sequester the victim so that they don't have an effect on the rest of the trial. Well, Delaware County Women Against Rape have brought this case before me and thought maybe we could change the rules in the law to be more consistent with federal law, where presently right now the victim can remain throughout the whole trial process as long as it doesn't have a direct effect where the courts can rule on that, it would hinder the case, so that the courts would then rule on it and sequester as needed.
Last session, one of the really big successes was there was a large package of bills that involved with protecting our children. Most of that related to the Jerry Sandusky issue and abuse and things like that. You have a piece of legislation that's looking to protect our school children in particular. This is a different issue, a different way of protecting them regarding school security. Can you talk about that legislation?
Yes, and thanks for bringing that up. As you well know too, I was a member last year of the Select Committee on Safe Schools, and we did a lot of research and traveled out of state to see what other states are doing pertaining to legislation to protecting our children while in school. So I'm working this year and have been working over the Christmas break with Representative Sid Kovulich in a bipartisan fashion so that what we found out is that most schools are required to have fire drills, and it's a very low percentage of people and lives and students' lives that we lose in these schools, but yet we're still drilling for it, sometimes 2, sometimes 4 times a year. So we want to take away 2 of those fire drills and implement lockdown drills, where schools have become more of an issue of violence, more so than fire.
Fortunately, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like kids playing on a football team. The more you practice, the better you play. So we want them to be ready in case an incident occurs. So we're going to be pushing that forward as a recommendation of the Select Committee.
So drills that are really a little more applicable to what a possible scenario might be.
Exactly, and they can run 1, 2, 3 different levels, all the way up from an active shooter, to some incident that just happened to happen on school grounds that may not be as drastic.
It's an unfortunate thing that we have to practice for this at all, but you're right that the more tools and resources that we bring both for the students and for the teachers, it should help in a situation if something like that would happen.
Yeah, it's the least we could do also. I mean, in my opinion, we're a couple years still behind with all the incidents that are happening around the country. We really need to, you know, button up our shirts, tighten our ties, and get down to some legislation that helps our kids.
Well, thank you so much for considering that issue and the other issues we talked about today, and we're looking forward to this next 2-year session to see what will come of it.
Thank you very much, and thanks for your time.
Sure.
Take care.
And that is all the time that we have for today's program. If you have any questions about any of the topics we discussed here today, you can feel free to contact Representative Joe Hackett's office. That contact information will be shown in just a moment. Thanks for watching, and please join us next time for Legislative Report.